Hello people, Jaffa here and welcome back to Arcadia. Well, I do have a big fun project planned for today, but first of all, I've just been interrupted by this. I have an ancient debris in my house, and well, I know who this is from. The other day when I was doing a few jobs around my base, I noticed an ancient debris just floating there. It seemed like it was sent from the Nether gods. But in fact, it was sent by Ep8 unknown. Ep8 tried to give it me without me noticing, and well, he succeeded for a while, but I managed to give it him back. And now it kind of turned into like a little war of trying to be the nicest Arcadian and give the ancient debris back to him. So let me go and do that. So Ep8 was the one that made me the billboards for the election. Seems like he's still a fan. Yep, seems like he won't miss it there when he goes to sleep. Okay, yes, I look a little silly in my armour. Unlike most people, I haven't made my armour invisible. I have some other plans, but I'm gonna wait for now. But let's give you a rundown on what I've been doing around my starter area recently. So around the portal area, where I've got the other portal leading to my overworld cave, I've mostly finished off the tunnel going this way. However, I still need to hide these torches, add some dead coral, but it is mostly finished. I really like the overgrown pale look, the odd leaves floating down. I've added some more of the light grey concrete as well, just to give it that slight contrast. Then heading up to the actual house, I've worked a bit more on the paths. I'm not too sure on how I feel about it. I've tried to add some walls, but it's a little too cramped. And then as you head over this, and then as you head over, do you mind? Then as you head away from the house, there's a bit more of a rough path, which I've got a little trail leading round this area. I'm considering adding a few more custom trees, some little details just here and there to add some personality. Then I do have these natural generated trees, which I've been using to gather wood and leaves and replanting them every now and then. However, I will probably do something a bit custom here and have the trees elsewhere hidden away as somewhere to farm them. Might even do something a bit automated with them. Got the hoglin farm here, which honestly I haven't really been using. And then this pathway I will continue at some point, but it leads over to the warped area. The details that I've added so far are all kind of rough and unfinished. And talking about rough and unfinished, well, most of the area I have been working is actually underneath my house. I've done a little staircase heading to this cave area underground, and honestly it doesn't look pretty from here on, just to warn you, but it's practical. So I set up a villager breeder, planted some crops, because there's kind of a way to do it without water, though not 100%. And well, I've been getting a lot of villagers. I've had to actually put a stop to it. Oh, I'm kind of using this space to age copper as well. But with some of the villagers, I set up an iron farm. You know what, this will probably be easier with FreeCam. So this is a design I came up with a while ago. Even used it last season. Pretty much get the zombie in the boat, and then shove a minecart in the boat as well, and it doesn't need any powered rails, it just has its own momentum. With the zombie's new range, you need an extra gap away from the villagers, and basically I've got a little room that can see through this gap, but that little pause where the zombie goes behind gives them that split second to sleep, keeping the iron farm working. Then I've used the pale moss carpets to spawn proof everything nearby. Everything apart from this one little platform where the iron golems will spawn. See the magma cube in the boat. Oh, there's a piglin there as well. And we'll charge towards it, thinking it can make it. However, die in the lava and, well, everything gets picked up in these hoppers. Then heading back this way, which, well, I've actually tried to shape recently, just in preparation for actually designing it and making it look nice. Got some more stairs leading down this way. And well, this was my first time using the auto crafting, so I've set up some redstone systems, and well, I've got all the iron ingots turning into blocks, and I've actually got all the flowers composting and then turning into bone blocks. So recently I finally decided to move the skulky heart that Duke made me for the Jaffa Riz week, and I actually had another heart near my house that was set up by Alex. It had a very backhanded compliment on it, saying that I'm the only half governor that he would love. Duke got one as well, so I don't know what to make of that. And well, you might have noticed it was less colourful around my house. I decided to move the gift from New Sea. There was also from the Jaffarez week. Move it down below just so I can keep it nice and pale up top. But I like to keep the gifts because it's nice to look back and, you know, have memories through the season. And then down at the bottom of the stairs, we have this. You see, up top, I do have my wishing well for the zombie piglins, which just has a very basic collection system for now. I'll be doing something with that soon. However, behind all these walls, well, I have a few secrets. This is one of the noisy secrets. I have some goats. Split into 2 rooms, I have the regular and the screaming. And then further along we have some cacti, some nylium with a strider that escaped. I'm going to automate these just so I can actually get the fungus and such nice and easy. And then we have this, which is kind of a makeshift gold farm. You see, one of my challenges for this season is, even though I'm based in the Nether, I'm not actually making any farms on the Nether roof. So this isn't the most efficient thing, but let me show you in free cam. I've got a mix of layers, and basically there are turtle eggs hidden inside this tube. Zombie piglins will spawn on the magma, run towards the middle and fall to their death. And that's what leads me down below. So as I'm hanging around my base, occasionally zombie piglins will spawn on the magma blocks, run towards the... Jesus, that scared me. Run towards the turtle eggs like so, fall to their death, and these hoppers will collect the gold nuggets and the rotten flesh. These items then get put through a filter system, and well, it's a little messy, but the rotten flesh gets put in these chests. I might have to do more storage for that. And then the gold nuggets get sent through and put in this crafter. This will turn them into gold ingots. You know what? I've got some nuggets on me, so let's put this through a little test. So the gold nuggets will come through, get turned into gold ingots, shot out, and given to one of these 2 piglins. They will then barter, chuck the items into these hoppers, which gets sent through a dropper elevator, and then put across another filter, which puts them into the correct double chest. I've only got the 2 piglins in here, but honestly, it's enough. Even with me putting more ingots in and strain testing it, the hoppers are so slow that by the time the autocrafter does its thing, the next one's already free to take the next ingot. So the timing for 2 piglins works perfectly. The dropper elevator's a little slow, but honestly, no issues really. Unless I chuck a load of gold nuggets into the system, then there won't be any issues. I haven't quite finished setting up this storage system just yet. It's just a case of I need to attach more hoppers and chests. It's not the quickest of farms, but if I can start spawn proofing the areas nearby, it might speed up a little bit. But it's something that's ticking away and just doing its thing while I work more around this area. And then I do have this staircase because, well, if I ever want to AFK, it's kind of nice just to hit some of these guys and do a little hidey hole, use my looting sword to get some extra gold. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. Well, around my starter area at least. Oh, I've walked straight past it. Yes, I also have like a very small basic bamboo farm. Again, I've got another auto crafting system, just making it into the actual blocks of bamboo. It's mostly there for when I need extra chests and such. But near the villager breeder, I actually have this other way out. This leads to the bottom of the slope and also in view of the bastion. And this area has changed a lot because now there's a big death pit. I have done a lot of mining. So here I am in the creative world, on the same seed. I've made a portal roughly where mine is on Arcadia. And going on through, we will see how much I have changed things. First of all, this is where the big pale hub was. This is the tunnel I've decorated and set up the other portal to get to the overworld cave. And heading the other way through the portal, this is where it opens up to my actual farmhouse, which is roughly around here. And I actually dug out a lot more this way. This little dip got covered up, and this is where the slope is that leads down. And if you imagine getting to the bottom of the slope round about here, well, this is the view of the bastion. On Arcadia, I have taken out this whole chunk just to actually have a nicer view of the bastion. I'm going to go into spectator just to show you better. So farmhouse that way, bastion this way. This chunk I got rid of. And if you imagine where all this land is, and it covers the whole top of this bastion, as well as all the way on this side, and all this massive forest. Well, let's just say I've made quite a lot of changes. So back in Arcadia, here's the farmhouse. I dug a lot in that direction, you can kind of tell with a flat roof. And well, heading this way through the mess that is the leaves, just to kind of prevent gas spawning. The whole of this roof was completely covered, so I spent a lot of time mining Netherrack, uncovering a lot of it. So you can kind of tell where I've uncovered it from. I've tried to smooth it off at this end, though I might uncover a lot more on the side. But yes, done a whole lot of Netherrack mining. And that's not the only thing. So heading back down this pathway, so all this was completely covered. And now we have this giant pit of death, where I'm planning on making a bridge at some point. Bridge that'll lead over to the bastion, which would be pretty cool. And then heading down this way, I need to sort this path a little. Got some tactically placed warped fungus, just to prevent these guys knocking me into the lava. But heading through, we have this nice wide open area, because I have been cutting down a lot of nether trees. A lot of nether trees. And this is where you can see the top of the bastion that was uncovered, and I've also uncovered a lot of the land that was above here, just to give it a bit more space. And this is actually going to be where my main base is going to be located. I don't have too many plans just yet, very much winging it. I need to decide on how I want the terrain to be, but I'm going to chip away at it little by little. And what I've decided to do, just because it works better for how I function, because my starter area is so close, it's not like me finishing a starter area and moving on to the main. It's all going to be linked and connected together. So I'm going to start work on this area before actually finishing off the pale area where my starter base is. I'll be going back and forth a little just because it's how I work most productively. And what can I say, I'm just too excited to get started on this project. I'm going to be moving in with my piglin neighbours. So the idea for my main base is I'm basically going to be making a town for the piglins. They helped me with this fancy suit and my election speech, and they just seem to be roaming the nether. Lots of disease causing the zombie piglins, having to hunt for food. Don't get me wrong, they've done well setting up this bastion, but it feels like a bit of a fixer-upper. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be fixing up the bastion, doing a bit of renovation work, and attached onto the bastion I'm going to set up a bit of a town. That's the aim anyway. I'm not sure how big I want the town to be, but I'm going to test my building skills, use my farming knowledge to make a lot of it actually functional. I'm going to have a lot of spawn proofing to do. Working in the nether conditions is definitely a challenge, but honestly, I feel like it's going to be a fun one. Once again, I'm going to make it a bit of a short one. With the recent illness, I haven't been able to get out as many videos, so I'm going to try and push some shorter ones. Let me know in the comments if you'd prefer me to go back to the more cinematic, longer videos, or have you enjoyed these shorter catch-ups? What do you think of my big base plans? Do you have any cool ideas I could add to the piglin town? But yeah, make sure you do all that YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and share. And I'll see you when I see you. Yes, Mr. Piglin, I'm sure I can improve this lava farm. That'll be on my next video, so make sure you subscribe. Please. Please come back and subscribe. Oh, he is actually coming back. Whoa!